Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and again, affectionately on my left, our aging rocker Emmett.
Did we do the countdown yet?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wait, they're recording?
Yeah, it's recording. And we are on the set of the Planet of the Apes, the 1968 Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston.
Yep. Let me just check the time. You keep talking. I just want to make sure
it.
it's recording everything. Is it recording?
It's recording.
Okay.
We got
Thumbs
it. So, and it's 1 o'clock right on the dot, so this will be easy to keep time. So
Yes.
before we start this brand new season, today is season 13 of Asaph Cafe, episode number 1.
Yes.
And I couldn't think of a better backdrop than the Planet of the Apes. Let's start.
Heavenly Father, bless our food and time together in Jesus' name. And also we pray again for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Bless them, help them to seek shelter, protect them, and especially the one, of course, the new Hurricane Irma and the other one. Bless us all, protect them, and help them out, and please send cooling rain to stop these wildfires so that we can have better respiratory issues, including mine. And Lord, for the people in the path of these storms, natural disasters, hurricanes, fires, evacuations, that, Lord, you would use this to touch their hearts so that they would think about you again, change their life, turn to you again, turn from their sins, think about God and religion. Amen. In Jesus' name.
Amen. I'm in total agreement. So anyway, I'm sure Montana will appreciate that. Let's tell the television audience in case there's someone who doesn't know. You know, like when I go to post this, Montana's been experiencing some pretty tremendous wildfire.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Wildfires.
Fires. Flower. I live at the wildflower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wildfires lately, and it's been very difficult to breathe here in western Montana, like the Lolo area.
Yes.
And all the other areas out here. It's very difficult to breathe, and there's people with respiratory issues.
Yeah.
So people have been praying for rain and that, you know, the air will clear, make life more comfortable in Montana, because Montana is one of the most beautiful states in the union. And of course, you would know that now with the
I know.
wildfires that we're going through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're not really catching us at our best at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's why we extended this prayer at the beginning of this program here, and I'm sure other people are praying too.
Oh, yes.
Play this again.
Yeah.
Well, you're sounding a lot better too,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I did see, I saw follow-up with my allergist yesterday.
Okay.
That was very good. I got my allergy shots, and I saw the allergist, and we discussed it. And so, basically, they just give me a couple more prescription, and everything's. I'll see him again in 6 months, but I'm finished with bottle C of my allergy shots. I'll be on bottle D, the strongest.
Bottle D?
Yeah, for even stronger concentrations that builds up immunity to these allergies. But I'm going to be on these allergy shots for the next 3 to 5 years.
Really?
Thankfully, Medicare's paying for all this, thankfully. But it takes a long while. There are a lot of people that are allergy sufferers. You should see the long line, and there are people always, every day, getting allergy shots or getting tested, even little kids, you know.
Okay. But in your case, is to treat your allergy issues?
Yes, it treats my allergies, and it is working. It's not perfect, but it's getting better.
Well, you're sounding a lot better, I can tell.
Yeah. But one thing I wanted to talk about, you know, other magazines in the doctor's office waiting room?
Yeah.
There was one in the doctor's waiting room, you know, when it was, and it was, I don't remember what it was about. It was a Thanksgiving issue of some magazine, and I don't remember, some sort of living or family type of thing, or self-help, and there was a Thanksgiving issue from last year or the year before, I don't know. But they were concentrating on if you're depressed during Thanksgiving and you don't know what to be thankful for, write yourself a list, or we have a list of things to fill in the blanks with that you can actually think of in the last year that you have been thankful for. It's like blanks. It's like, well, I'm feel blank looking at this paper at my Thanksgiving meal, even though I wish I had 3 more portions of this, but I am thankful for this and for this, even though I'm anxious about this in the morning. But then I'm also, mostly I'm thankful for this and this and this and my friends here. I did it completely surreal. I changed it. I wish I had it here, but mine went something like this. I can't remember. I feel fascinated by looking at this sheet on my Thanksgiving dinner table, even though I wish I could have 3 more portions of the rutabagas that stick out their tongues at me. Isn't that surreal? But I'm really thankful for my fascinating washing machines that I spin around and my fascinating dryers that I spin around in. And I've definitely done way too much, sometimes even, of splashing around in coffee cups. Even though I am wake up anxiously at 6 a.m. in the morning because I'm anxious about washing machines that don't dance. But really, I'm thankful in my life, especially for the fascinating spin dries and my fascinating washing machines I get to splash around in. Isn't that fascinating, Mr. Spin Dry? But I'm also mostly thankful for all of you guys here at the Thanksgiving table with me who keep me from feeling bored. So I made this surreal thing. It's not entirely accurate, but isn't that fascinating? Isn't that hilarious? If I were to write this down, this is what I'm thankful for at Thanksgiving. My fascinating spin dries and my coffee cups I splash around in, but I'm still even anxious waking up about washing machines that don't dance. But otherwise, I'm fascinated. I'm thankful for the coffee cups and the spin dries and the washing machines I talk to. Wasn't that surreal? I just had to do that. I wish I could have taken the magazine home or had them copy this, but I didn't have time. I can't take it.
That was at the office where you
Yes, because they have magazines. Because I was waiting for the doctor, so I was, reading some magazines just to pass the time, and I came across that. I did it a few times just to mentally do a mental thing in my head. Yeah, isn't that surreal?
I see. Okay.
Kind of a pre-Thanksgiving tribute, but that's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah. Don't know what I'll do, but this is September, October, November. It's coming up soon, about 2 months and a half months.
Before you know,
Yep. The spinning dryer.
Short version of Farrelly's. Let me think. Anyway, it'll be nice when Thanksgiving gets here.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite holidays of the year. Is Thanksgiving.
Interesting.
I know it may not be.
Yeah.
How can I put it? It may not compare to, say, Easter.
Yeah.
Or Christmas. I understand that because you're talking about Jesus and that's all cool. And
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite.
Interesting.
holidays.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite. I like Christmas. I like Thanksgiving, and of course Easter.
Oh yeah, I love Easter.
And I like
That's
all
my
the
favorite
other
one.
holidays too that may not necessarily be to a degree like Easter, like the 4th of July and those sort of things. But yeah, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite. And one of the reasons I like it is because when the Thanksgiving starts, you have the whole Christmas season to look forward to. You have all those months of just celebration, starting with the Thanksgiving holiday. If you think about it,
But then you can kind of overdose on Christmas. By the time Christmas Day arrives, it's
Yeah, I know, and I realize that. That's why if they don't get too soon into Christmas, and they focus on Thanksgiving. That's just kind of
And Thanksgiving was a religious holiday proclaimed by Abraham Lincoln. It wasn't just the first Thanksgiving, with the American Indians. That was part of it, but it was to give thanks to God and reflect on our times in Jesus Christ and our sins and ask God's forgiveness. And that's why Abraham proclaimed it as a religious holiday, really. And Thanksgiving and everything,
You recognize song?
A Charlie Brown's Christmas.
Yes.
Yep. Yep, that was classic. I even like Labor Day. I think I like Labor Day, Jim, just because you can sit around and rest, and you don't feel obligated to be happy or feel in a certain way. You can just have a kickback day. That's kind of nice. I like Labor Day for that. Feels kind of restful in Missoula during Labor Day because everyone's just kicking back, and just enjoying themselves and whatever,
Yeah, Christmas time is here. Charlie Brown cartoon. But getting back to Thanksgiving, this is kind of cool because you have all that to look forward to.
Yes.
It's almost like 2 months of type of heaven to me.
Yeah, interesting.
And then you have the New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to celebrate all that within those months. It's pretty cool. But I think I said this once. I think I did a story on Scott's show, Wake Up Mozilla, and we were talking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I did this contrast of what Thanksgiving is supposed to be like. And you remember the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving Christmas?
Yes, I do.
Remember that scene? Okay, Peppermint Patty invites herself over to Charlie Brown. See, Charlie Brown was going to go to his grandmother's house for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
But Peppermint Patty invited herself over, and Charlie Brown just didn't tell her that he wasn't going to be home. So what he and Snoopy do is they just make toast, popcorn, and pretzels.
Yep.
And they cooked all this up here. And then when Franklin came by and Peppermint Patty and Marcy and all the rest of them, they put out this big, like, ping pong table.
Yes.
And then there's Charlie Brown and Lida's just serving all this bread and popcorn and stuff. And then they throw it in front of Peppermint Patty's face, and she's like looking at them all weird and angry.
Yeah.
And she goes, "What blockhead cooked all this?
Yeah.
Where's the turkey, Chuck?
Yeah.
Where's the dressing, Chuck? Don't you know anything about Thanksgiving?"
Yeah.
I got that memorized. And so then Charlie Brown walks out. He's all like sad. And Marcy says, "Don't you think you were a little hard on him, boss? I mean, did he really invite you to Thanksgiving, or did you invite yourself?"
Yeah.
So, and then she goes, "Well, would you apologize to Chuck for me?" Marcy says, "No, I think you should do that for yourself."
Yeah.
But it was funny, her reaction. I found that humorous when she was saying, "Well, that blockhead cooked all this."
I
And
know.
they had all that music going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not the way to be thankful.
Exactly.
And then I did a contrast on that Wake Up. I used that illustration. And then the other contrast, what Thanksgiving really is about, thanking God for your blessings. And like you said about Columbus and the Pilgrims and things like that. That's kind of what it's all about. It's not about football.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with football. I'm just saying that, it's gotten so commercial.
I know.
And stuff. It's all about malls and football and stuff. Thanking God for your blessings.
Yeah.
That's what those things have turned into.
Yeah.
And I think if you can thank God and have all that other stuff, it just gives you more of a
It does.
perspective, well-rounded. So. Just food for thought.
Yeah. Why can't they have a holiday for science fiction fans? Science fiction day or something. Why can't they have that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of science fiction, Star Trek's coming out in a couple of weeks.
I thank you for reminding me.
September. It'll be out in about 2 weeks. The new Star Trek television series of CBS. It's coming out.
I have some disappointing news, however, about that.
What's that?
I learned from a friend of mine who's been one of my closest friends since, junior high. We were talking about that. I was excited, and he called me. He lives in Idaho. It's not going to be on regular broadcast. It's only going to be on pay-per-view on the internet. CBS pay-per-view or something.
I think they're going to have it on television for starters.
Yeah. Huh. I hope so.
I think they will for starters.
Because that's what my friend said, and I was disappointed,
No, I think it'll be on regular television.
I hope so. But I can't wait to see it, and I'll be crushed if it's only on pay-per-view or the internet.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Here's Star Trek for you.
Yeah, I would just be absolutely crushed and disappointed, yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad you reminded me. I would have forgotten to mention that.
It's this month, a couple of weeks on.
What?
A couple of weeks on.
Fascinating, yeah. Fascinating. Lasers. Oh, wait, I don't. Yeah.
They were pretty secretive,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really fancy with a little bit of show.
Yeah. Fascinating. Do you know what I miss? And I forgot to mention this. I know there's so many cable channels, but I miss Saturday morning cartoons. They don't have a Saturday morning lineup of cartoons for the kids on Saturday morning.
I know, they
science
don't do that
fiction
like
cartoons.
they used to,
Yeah, they just don't. I'm very disappointed. They always used to do that in the fall, in the September. Here are the new science fiction cartoons. New Transformers, Flash Gordon, new science fiction things, new Superman for the kids, new other things. And I miss looking forward to that every year. I really did, more live action. I just kind of miss that,
Yeah, I agree with you. I miss that too.
Yeah.
I'm leading up to Planet Apes. We're going to get into that in a second.
Yes.
Such a...
Yeah.
It seems like the perfect song to get into what we're about to talk about.
Uh-huh.
prelude in E minor. I think this would be an appropriate song for Planet of the Apes, you know. I'll talk about it as soon as I finish this song. Here's the conclusion.
Yep.
Such a beautiful song.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a perfect Planet of the Apes song.
Yeah, it is.
And here's the conclusion. Now, that's an intro I'm going to use for what we're going to talk about. As you notice, our television audience, we're on the backdrop of Planet of the Apes. This is a scene right here where Charlton Heston is in the year 3070 something. I don't know the exact year, but it's like in the 30 something. And their mission was to just go into space. And I've got some notes here. I don't know if it necessarily covers the mission per se, but anyway, Charlton Heston's character, they only age like a few moments over a lifetime of flight through space before they get back to Earth. And of course, by the time they get back to Earth, everybody that sent them is going to be gone. But what happens is there's a glitch in the spaceship. Something happens and it puts them into this planet that we're on, this beach scene here. And so in this scene here, this is at the end of the film, Charlton Heston realizes that he was back on Earth all along. And that mankind had blew up the Earth.
It's probably a nuclear war or something.
Yeah, the nuclear war. And of course, there's the Statue of Liberty on the beach there. So Heston on the right of your screen is like mourning. And his girlfriend Nova is standing there. Now she is mute in this scene, so she can't really talk. She just has to watch. But that's a sobering.
It is.
If you think about it, the end of that. Because now, in case there's someone who doesn't know Planet of the Apes, let's talk about that.
Wasn't the first one released in February 8th?
February 8th, 1968 is when Planet of the Apes first started. It was the whole franchise.
I was almost 2 months old. I was a month and almost, just because I'm born December the 11th, so I was almost 2 months old. I wouldn't have remembered it or known it. But
no, you had to, well, they started rerunning it. And see, what it is Heston's character, I have some notes here. George Taylor. He and his astronaut companions. They're headed back for Earth. Something went wrong with the ship. They land on this planet that we're on. And of course, they aged a little bit because they had the beard and stuff when they were clean shaven originally. And they find themselves in this planet of apes where everything is reversed. Instead of man talking, the apes talk. The apes had their own families, their own religions, their own school, their own government system. And they lived in a town called Ape City. That was the name of the city. And Heston and his companions, they find themselves on this planet. But before they discover the apes, they see nothing but just mutes. So many mutes, they couldn't talk. And I like that scene, Heston's like, he's all arrogant, his character is really arrogant. If this is the best they got around here, we'll be running this planet in 6 months. And all of a sudden you hear this, and all this music, and you see these, they're out in the, like the forest, and they see somebody's chopping giant grass and trees. You hear all that, and next thing you know, they see these apes with guns on driving horses, which would freak anybody out, and they start talking. So that really freaks people out.
Definitely.
They're running for their lives, and they're hunting the humans. You know how like humans hunt for animals?
Yes.
Well, what's brilliant about this series is the reversal.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is.
The ape kingdom is chasing humans. Humans are mute, humans are dumb, and it's creepy some of the things that they do on Planet Apes. Like, you know how we have animals when they die, taxidermy? You know how we just stuff them? Well, that's what they did with the humans. It was really creepy, that part. But brilliant science fiction.
Yeah.
And of course, the humans could talk originally, but when they were in the hunt, they got injured. Heston's character got injured too. In case there's someone watching, they can know that. Heston's character was shot, which caused him to not be able to speak. So the apes just thought he was mute like all the others. And of course, they did an experiment on one of the other astronaut companions, and they cut his skull so he couldn't talk. And of course, the African American fella, he gets killed in the hunt right from the start, so he won't be talking. But they taxidermied him, and they had this scene where Heston gets loose. You know how sometimes animals get loose and everybody freaks out? Oh, this tiger's on the loose. We got to get the authorities. So they got the authorities out after Heston's character. And they're treating him like an animal because he got loose. He's running through the ape city. They're throwing fruit at him. And you hear all this music. You know, they're just throwing fruit and stuff. And they get the whips out. They're trying to capture him and everything. And his throat had healed from when he got shot in that scene. And so right when they throw this big giant net to grab him so he can't run away. And Dr. Zero is taking care of Heston's character. Taylor, why did you run away? I'm in charge of this. I mean, no, wait, let me get in order because I got to memorize. Taylor, why did you run away? You know, they had him in a rope. Yeah. And and then one of the other apes, the authorities said, he's under the control of the council. I'm in charge of this man. No longer, madam. He's in the custody of the Ministry of Science. And he turned around. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. That was incredible, And they just all froze because they could talk, you know. And then they put him into this trial in the movie. You know, they have this trial. He's on trial for just trumped up charges. Yeah, definitely. You know, because he can talk, they think he's going to try to take over. And it's just brilliant science fiction writing. Yeah, it is. It's really brilliant writing. So I mentioned, in case there's someone watching that doesn't know, Dr. Zero has a nephew, and he and Dr. Zero planned this escape to break Heston out of that human zoo. And they go into the Forbidden Zone. Yeah. And then it's cool because there's this scene where Heston's like shaving. Yes. Why did you scrape your hair off? Yeah. In my world, when I left it, only kids your age wore beards. Yeah. Remember that scene? Yeah. And Roddy McDowell's character, he's Dr. Cornelius, somehow it makes you look less intelligent. Yeah. Just classic lines all together. Yeah, definitely. But what they put Heston through in that movie, oh my goodness. They kept chaining him and locking him up, and oh, it was horrible. No wonder by the time when I escaped from the Planet of the Apes, everybody in the past freaked out. You remember on Planet of the Escape? Planet wasn't that where they went back to the 20th century? Yeah, and all the humans freaked out. Yeah, you know, I'm talking about the authorities. At first, they treated the apes with love and so on, and there's always this one scientist that says, we shouldn't be doing this. That was Eric Braden's character. You know, he's young and restless. Victor Newman. Yeah. He's always a bad guy on TV. Yeah. Anyway, he was a bad guy in this Planet of the Apes, and he tells the authorities we shouldn't be treating these apes like this, like they're our friends, because they're going to take over. And you know what he does? At the end of Escape from Planet of the Apes, after Roddy McDowell's character, they got a dose of their own medicine. You know how they treated humans bad? Yes. Well, the apes were treated bad in the past. And Dr. Vera was expecting. So what she does is, right when she gives birth to her baby, she switches her baby with just a regular gorilla baby. And of course, Eric Braden's character, the scientist, he shoots Dr. Zira and kills
Yes.
her because he doesn't want the apes to take over.
Yeah.
And he kills the infant baby.
Yeah.
And then he kills Cornelius to save the earth. But what he didn't know is that Vera had switched babies.
Yeah.
So by the time that baby grew up, he calls his name Caesar, and he was ticked.
Yeah.
He was ticked. His parents were killed. He was
Yeah.
ticked how the apes were treated when he was growing up, turned them into slaves.
Yeah.
And he took over that planet. Caesar took over that
Yep.
planet. And so Eric Braden's character didn't actually stop the
Yeah.
apes from taking over. That ape grew up and he was so mad, and he
Yeah.
taught those apes how to fight back and
Yeah.
not be slaves, and they were
Yeah.
taking guns and
Wasn't that Battle for the Planet of the
yeah,
Apes?
they took over
Yeah.
that planet. Boy, they was like, we ain't taking this stuff from these
I remember
humans
that. I
anymore.
remember that was
So-
very good. That was a very good movie.
Oh yeah, all those movies were good.
Even in Escape from the Planet of the Apes, we learned that the apes were dissecting humans. That's what Dr. whatever her name
That
was.
was another reason why
Yes.
Eric Braden's character
Yep.
freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they thought that the apes would take over.
Yeah.
So he just killed that whole
Yep.
line to try to prevent that from happening.
Yep.
But it didn't happen because, like I said, Dr. Zira switched babies.
Yep.
And at the end, that little baby's like, Mama.
I remember that. Yep, yep.
Mama. You know?
Yeah.
And let me just name all the movies here.
Mhm.
The original Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston came out in 1968. I'll show this to you.
Mhm. All right.
And then Beneath the Planet of the Apes came out in 1970. Escape from the Planet of the Apes came out in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes came out in 1972, and finally Battle for the Planet of the Apes came out in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this information here, there.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlton Heston was the perfect person to play that role, in my opinion, on Planet of the Apes. There couldn't have been a finer actor to play that.
Oh, this was based on a novel. I didn't know that.
Well, most of those movies usually are based on, like Perry Mason with Raymond Burr.
Mm-hmm.
That was based on a novel. The Earl Stanley
Yeah.
novels.
Yeah. I was just a little kid. 1973, I had turned 67, 69, 71. I had just turned 6 years old in December, so I would have been 5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Books, comics, video games, and toys. That definitely, I remember that somewhere. Uh-huh. Fascinating, yes. They even had an animated series. I remember
Something
that.
like that. Yeah. But anyway, they're all based on novels. Earl Stanley novels is how Perry Mason's television series got started. Those trivia buffs out there. And of course, this is probably based on a novel too. But anyway, yeah, they had 5 Planet of the Apes movies original started that spawned the Heston version. And
I think they even had puzzles and board games.
yeah, everything was just twisted, this reversal.
Uh-huh.
The apes had their city, they made the governmental laws, their own religion, and so
Yeah.
on. And it was just very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And ape was created. God created ape in His own image.
Yes.
That's brilliant writing.
I know.
Man has no soul, according to this is
Yes,
plant-based.
exactly.
So all they did just did reversal. Everything that humans do to
Fascinating,
animals,
yes.
animals did to humans. And
Yes.
the apes, the taxidermy, everything, you know. So,
Mhm.
and the African American fella, you know, he was killed in the hunt.
Mhm.
So they turned him into taxidermy and they stuffed him.
Yeah.
There was a scene where when Heston escapes from the zoo, he escapes from the human zoo. And he sees his friend frozen as a taxidermy. They had this music, da 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 da, you know, kind of music, and that was just creepy.
Yeah.
But brilliant writing, and of course, Heston finds out that he was on Earth all along in this scene that we put ourselves in today. So that's a sobering scene. If you think about it, if you look at that scene, that's very, very sobering.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine being on the Earth for real? The nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
And seeing the Statue of Liberty
Yeah.
on the beach.
Yeah, that definitely.
That would just be really, really sobering
Yeah, it would be.
and freaky, you know?
If I remember a couple of the other lines, I don't remember which movie this was, but I think Cornelius or one of the other people, I can't remember one of the apes, when they were discussing, they may have even been discussing Charles Heston's character. I don't remember. Yeah, I know. They were saying...
It was in the Planet of the Apes Escape.
Yeah, someone said, what did he say? And one of the apes said, I can't remember. He said the word that caused civilization to fall into destructions. He said the word we cannot repeat. And one of the apes said, maybe it was Cornelius. What did he say? He said no. No.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't. Well, that was good.
That was in Planet. That was in Escape from the Planet.
Yeah, that was a fascinating.
Because they took the truth serum and put Dr. Zero under to tell them what the future was like.
Exactly.
And so that's why Eric Braden's character wanted to kill them all to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
And of course, as I stated, she switched babies at the last minute.
There was another one, I think it was Battle for the Planet of the Apes, or Beneath the Planet of the Apes, or Conquest.
Well, here, let's just look it up and get it in order
here. And I don't remember which.
All right, the first one was Planet of the Apes. The second one was Beneath the Planet of the Apes. But the third one was interesting because that's the escape. See, the world was blown up. See, when Dr. Zira and Dr. Cornelius flew off the Earth and escaped from the Planet of the Apes, they saw the Earth blow up. So when they went in the past, when she was given the truth serum, she told the scientists that she saw the Earth blowing up. That freaked all the authorities out. And that was why Braden's character wanted to stop, wipe out that family too, to keep the Earth from blowing up and save mankind. But since they switched the order, the apes took over anyway. They took over in the conquest for the Planet of the Apes. That one where Cornelius just took over that planet and taught those apes to fight back. Because all the animals died in the Planet of the Apes from a disease. So instead of having dogs and cats and birds and things, they took the apes and trained them into serving, and they were serving in restaurants and cooking and all.
Oh yes, I remember that. That was very
used it, and they turned them into slaves. They were really abusing the apes, and Cornelius was growing up in that, and he was trained by Ricardo Montalban's character.
Oh yeah,
the circus. Well, Ricardo Montalban was in this, and he was the circus trainer.
Oh yeah.
Who raised Cornelius, and he was teaching Cornelius, you need to not talk. You need not let these people know you could talk, because they're treating,
exactly,
humans like slaves. And there was a scene where Ricardo Montalban's character is with Caesar. Caesar's all growing up. And Caesar sees the apes all being abused and whipped and beat up and everything. He's like, lousy human bastard! And so the authorities heard that, and they walked up, hey, did that ape talk? No, he can't talk. And so the authorities said, well, repeat it. And so then finally, Montalban's character gets ticked off. He says again, lousy human bastard! What? Just great line, And of course, they get suspicious because they didn't think that the way Montalban said it sounded like what they first heard. And of course, the authorities get in there and they capture Caesar and they put him in this electric chair and kill him because he can talk. But the African American fella, he could relate to Caesar, being a descendant of a slave. So he sneaks into the back of the control room and he turns off all the electricity without telling the rest of the authorities. So when they have Caesar strapped in there, the president says, well, you got him strapped in there, just electrocute him and kill him. That'd be the end of it. He won't be taken over. So Caesar's like, and he fakes his own death, right? And he's all dead on the thing. So they let him loose, and he kills the guy that lets him loose. And
excellent!
It's just brilliant science fiction writing, just classic.
Iconic line. It is fantastic.
But I think that the most iconic line is "Take your stinking paws off
absolutely,
damn dirty ape." That started the whole thing. Because it freaked out the apes because they didn't think any humans could talk. So. But anyway, Caesar fakes his own death, and then he goes back to the president's office. They hijack and kidnap all the president, all those people that gave the order to take over the apes and everything and abuse them. And so that president's laying on there, and Caesar has this gun. He's like, "You got any last minute words before I kill you?" And it was just what goes around comes around, So. Finally, Caesar decides he's not going to kill the president, so they just kind of take him off and stuff. And he gives this speech. We've taken over this planet, and we're not going to be slaves anymore. And we're going to be free. And, he just gave that long speech while the whole planet, the whole city's all burning up. And the apes are like, a rebellion kind of thing. They're like taking over. They had these guns. And
I remember beautiful, brilliant.
And then Caesar had a girlfriend, sort of like, and she's like, no, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because she didn't approve with how Caesar was leading the people after they took over. So just brilliant. And of course the last one was the battle for the Planet of the Apes. And of course the apes, they get control of the planet and starts the ape city. And it's almost like a circle if you think about it.
It is.
If you think about it. At the beginning with Heston's character, they're on the Planet of the Apes, and by the time they get to the escape, the humans of the past try to stop it. But by the time you get to the battle for the Planet of the Apes, they're right back where they started. It's a big circle.
Brilliant. There was another line I enjoyed. It might have been Battle for the Planet of the Apes, I don't remember. One of the commandments was ape shall not kill ape.
Yeah.
One of them broke that commandment, and then they were hunted by the rest of the apes. Ape killed ape. Oh, that was brilliant writing, too.
And it's pretty close to the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I liked about it? They didn't change the Bible and make up some fictitious religious thing. They used the Bible. They just reversed exactly. Instead of pertaining to man, it was apes. So apes had the relationship with God. Apes were created in God's image. And I didn't think that was blasphemous. I thought that was brilliant science fiction writing. And they didn't change the Bible or alter it at all. They just changed it. Ape had a soul. Ape was created in God's image. And humans were mute and had no soul.
Brilliant.
I mean, science fiction is brilliant.
Oh, it is.
And remember the funeral scene in the when that one ape preacher was just like a windbag. He loved his wife and his family, and he was a good man. And he just had this boring.
I don't remember that.
This is just before Heston first escapes, and he goes into that church, and this little boy notices a human walk around, and he goes, "Look, a man!"
Brilliant.
And all that music starts. Oh, get this man out of this church, out of the service. And Heston runs right in the middle of the funeral service. He jumps over the coffin, and that preacher freaks out. It's just brilliant. And he had all this music while they were chasing him.
Almost makes me want to see all those original movies all over again, because I might see some stuff now that I'm older that I didn't when I was 15.
I have the original Planet of the Apes at home in my collection.
Oh, wonderful.
In fact, I was looking at some of it just last night to prepare for the taping.
Do you have all the movies or not? Or just one?
I have two of them.
Cool.
I have the original Planet of the Apes of Charlton Heston, and I have the Conquest of the Planet of the Apes when Caesar took over. I got to get the rest of them in my collection. I just hadn't gotten around to it.
And
Caesar was ticked.
Definitely.
And what was interesting was there was a scene where the president needed a slave, so they get Caesar, not knowing that he could talk and everything. And so they get this encyclopedia and say, we got to figure out a name for this ape. And they said, well, he can't talk anyway. And so the president said, well, let him just pick a name at random, and whatever name he picks, we'll call him that. And so he looks. And they didn't know he could read. He sees the name Caesar, and he points to Caesar. And they thought it was a glitch, a mistake, so they had him do it again, and he pointed to Caesar. So they called him Caesar. That's brilliant. His name. That's brilliant science fiction. And he could understand and hear everything they were talking about, but they didn't know that at first. And so then he hears their plans. And then there's a scene where the African American scientist, he's like, had Caesar on a chain. He's like, I sure wish you could understand what these people are doing to your people. Because he could relate, because he was a slave, a descendant of slaves. And he's like, I don't like what they're doing to you apes, but I don't have the authority and power to stop it. And I wish you could understand that I'm on your side, kind of thing. And he looks at the African American scientist and says, I can understand.
Brilliant.
Freaks out that scientist. You mean you can talk? He says, yes, I can talk. I know everything that's going on. I know what that president's been doing to my people. And so they have this dialogue, and so
incredible.
They keep it secret, the scientist. But thanks to that scientist, he helped Caesar conquer that planet too. And then when Caesar takes over the planet, the African American scientist says, "I appeal to you in the name of humanity, and as a descendant of slaves, don't do to these humans what the humans did to you," you know, kind of thing.
That's
brilliant writing.
It is
really brilliant writing. But oh yeah, I just love all these Planet of the Apes movies. They're
Definitely.
so fun.
And it's one of the rare science fiction ones that you can enjoy, and it didn't even have any lasers. You know, it didn't have a single laser.
What I liked
brilliant
about
writing.
What I liked about it was just a whole reversal of how mankind treated animals. Now animals treat mankind like that. It's brilliant. The animals, they build the cities, they have the school system, everything. They talk, they watch television, everything. It's just brilliant writing. Really brilliant writing. And I think I shared this story with you once. When this first came out, my brother and I and some friends, we went to an actual movie theater and saw all 5 of these Planet of the Apes movies back to back.
Yeah.
We went there about 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and we walked out there about 7 o'clock in the evening. And they gave you like about 5 or 10 minutes to stretch your legs per movie to go get some popcorn and stuff. And can you imagine that? Watching all 5 of these
Boy,
movies?
I would have loved that. I would have been a happy camper.
Did. It was like science fiction heaven.
Yep.
We did. We looked at all 5 of those movies back to back with like a 10-minute break to go to the bathroom each. The next film. And we saw all 5 of those movies that Saturday afternoon.
Wow.
I loved it. Loved it. And of course with these remakes, I don't care for some of the remakes as much.
Yeah, I've never seen the remakes, so I can't judge. Maybe I should have seen the remakes. They didn't look as good as the original when I saw them in trailers in theater.
What it is they focus more on the special effects and the gadgetry and all of that, which is okay. But even a television series, I liked it, Planet of the Apes television series, but I didn't care for it as much. I liked it, but it didn't work for me as much.
Definitely.
Especially the first one. You know, the directors and the producers, they knew Charlton Heston was going to be the right person for this movie, and they actually put that on hold for 8 or 9 months, waiting for Charlton Heston to be available. He was working on a film, and they said, "Mr. Heston, we know you're the right person, so we're going to stop production and wait for you." They waited 8 or 9 months, and it was just the right thing to do. Shut it down and wait. And when Charlton Heston was available, they put that together, and the rest is science fiction history.
Fascinating,
Yeah. And, you know, it may not be his best work, like the Ten Commandments or Ben-Hur or some of the other movies, but perfect.
Yeah.
He was perfect for that role. It may not be his best work, but it's his best work as far as science fiction. It's the best work as far as any science fiction genre, in my opinion. That's the best. It's a cult classic.
It is, absolutely.
Even though it came out in 1968, it's still it's still a classic.
It
to
is.
this day. It had classic writing, classic lines, classic scenes, classic music, but especially the lines, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And stuff like that, and just the order that these Planet of the Apes movies went in, and that circle that I mentioned. So, just brilliant science fiction for the science fiction buffs out there.
It is.
And I never get tired of watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to watch it again, just because I haven't seen it since I was age 15, or maybe a little. There might have been a time that I might have seen some of them, like 1986 or 87. It might have been on regular TV because I didn't have cable. I can't remember. That might have happened. Wait, seem to think that might have happened. Yeah, I might have seen it 87, 88. So maybe I haven't seen it since I was 15, but it's been a long, long time.
But it was just perfect. Charlton Heston was the perfect person for that.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think the movie would have worked with any other actor.
Yeah.
He was just perfect for it. And I think the producers knew that.
Yeah.
I had seen some documentaries on this film. They said in these documentaries, we know Charlton Heston is going to be the right person for this role.
Yeah.
So, and their gamble paid off by shutting it down and waiting all those months for him to finish that film, to do that.
Yeah. Well, you know,
perfect.
It's interesting that you talk about, you know, the change and the whole reversal.
Yeah,
because
the reversal thing. It's
the way we treat a lot of our animals is terrible.
I know it. I know.
I mean, and that's what they were trying to highlight.
I think I think that the directors of this Planet of the Apes was using their imagination. What would it be like if the animals did to us what we do to them?
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, because have you ever heard of Captain Beefheart? He's a surrealist composer, not a composer, but he was a surrealist songwriter. He made very surreal music. He did kind of some guitar, but he kind of did some really, not even psychedelic stuff, but really surreal. I loved we lost him a few years ago, Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band. He made a lot of records like Trout Mask Replica. He did Bat Chain Puller and some others, just surreal stuff about trains that houses people's thoughts, carried by rubber dolphins, and just brilliant handed this weird guitar, and it's just surreal, you know. He made this one spoken thing, I get being a surrealist, it was just a spoken poem or spoken speech. It was called Apesma. It simply went like this. It didn't even have any music, you know, in the background. It was simply that you just heard on it because, you know, I rented it. Apesma, without any music in the background or anything.
Really?
Yeah. Apesma. Your cage is too dirty, Apesma. Remember Apesma when you were younger and you used to break out of your cage? Well, you know that you're not strong enough to do that anymore. And the little girl that named you years ago has died, Apesma. Remember what she named you as the paper Apesma? And you're older now, Apesma. Apesma, you're eating too much, and you're going to the bathroom too much, Apesma. And Apesma, your cage isn't getting any bigger, Apesma. And it just ended like that. Poor Ape. I have that memorized. I have that speech memorized, but poor Ape, you know. It was kind of funny, kind of surreal, but what a surreal song. But yeah, incredible. But that, you know, basically it's turnaround is fair play. Now the apes are doing to the humans that kind of thing, you know. Definitely.
That song I was playing just now is called "Give Me Your Eyes."
Yep.
Now I don't know if I'm gonna try to figure out a way to take that song and tie it in what we're talking
Yeah.
about. "Give Me Your Eyes" has to do with give me your eyes through the view of God's view for humanity, for mankind, you might say. When people have trouble, give me your eyes, God's eyes, so you can see their hurt, help them. I'm trying to figure out a way to tie that in with this here in a sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not seeing humanity through God's eyes, but the apes, you know, they're just, the writing is the reversal. I don't know if I can tie that song in, but, you know, it's just such a brilliant writing, just, you know, this whole thing, and I think it's one of the best science fiction, what is it, epics that they ever made in history, in my opinion. And you know, when you think of Planet of the Apes, even to this day, when somebody mentions Charlton Heston, they just know right away. They just say, oh, that's just such a classic, it's a classic, it's a classic. And I agree. Planet of the Apes is just the ultimate, one of the ultimate classic science fiction. I think it's more brilliant than Star Trek in some instances. Some instances. I
think it's a tie. Actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it's just a different style of science fiction writing. Gene Roddenberry said he didn't want to have Star Trek be a Western in space. You know. Because when Star Trek first came out, it was up against all the Westerns. So he wanted to write some good drama, not a Western gunslinging space. And I think that it paid off for him. And same with this here, just brilliant writing. You know?
Well, he even said, I remember in an interview, he said he was kind of forced to make it more of a wagon train to the stars.
But he resisted that.
But he had to put in some action, and if it had just been Gene Roddenberry doing what he wanted, it would have been a really different Star Trek, probably a lot less action.
Well, perhaps, but what I'm saying is that it didn't turn out to be just a Western in space.
Good point.
No, he incorporated, like you're saying, he incorporated some really good writing and stuff like that.
As a matter of fact, I even heard what he originally wanted was a woman to be the captain. The network said, no, it's got to be a man, and he said, all right, for this, just to get this out
they weren't quite ready for that at that time. You got to remember that was a different time period. Too. But you know what's interesting is the actress that played number one in the original Star Trek before Shatner, she was like this intelligent, like the number one officer in the ship. And Gene Roddenberry says she got a lot of heat. Who does that lady think she is?
Whoa.
And that was the mentality of that time period. But it worked. Number one, they called her. She was like the best officer, even better than Spock.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to keep talking. I just want to check make sure everything's going on. I kind of do that on my own show, the
Okay, you can do that.
Society. Make sure we're still going, you know. Very good.
Yeah, it's running okay.
Excellent. I just always kind of get hyper on it. We have only got 11 minutes left.
I know.
Amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing. Only 11 minutes.
Yeah. I've been keeping track of time.
It's been... What's that song?
That's called the Cattle Call.
Huh.
You never heard it?
No.
I'll do it. The Cattle Call.
Huh.
Here's the middle part you might recognize. You don't recognize that? That's called the Cattle Call, C-A-T-T-L, Cattle Call. It was made famous by Eddie Arnold, I believe, made that song famous. And a lot of other people did it too, like Slim Whitman. I don't know if you remember him.
Nope.
He was like a famous yodeler, singer. They had a
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, they yodeled that part. Let's see, you can- something like that. It was a yodel.
Yep.
And a lot of other singers, country singers of the past did that song. It's such a popular song, Cattle Call.
Huh.
Yeah, very famous song of the past.
Huh.
Yeah.
Don't remember it.
Well, this is way before your time. I think probably before my time too. Cattle Call. But it was a pretty cool song. And it's still a fun song. So la 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 la. You know, a little melody there. And I can't yodel or anything. But
Yeah.
when you hear a professional yodeler singing that song, it just sounds like you're way out in the country somewhere
yeah.
with the cows. And it's just pretty cool when it's done right. When it's really done right. Well, anyway, we're about ready to wind down here, and I enjoyed this in-depth science fiction talk.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I'm just
yeah.
into science fiction.
Same here. It's wonderful.
You know, I was watching Battlestar Galactica finally the other.
Yeah.
I didn't see it from the beginning, but there was a scene where it reminded me of Star Trek: The Movies. There was a scene where there was a big fire, I guess.
Yes,
on
fire
the
in space.
ship. Fire in space. That was the episode. It had some scenes where Benedict's character, I can't remember his character's name, the actor that played him. They were out floating in space.
Starbuck?
Yeah, Starbuck's character. Yeah, they were out on top of the spaceship trying to fix it to prevent that fire. And it just reminded me of when Worf used to, in the movies, would go out outside of the ship.
Yeah.
And just it was pretty cool. And something happened to Lauren Green's character, the commander.
Yeah, he got knocked out because of the space battle. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were operating on him, and then the ship was on fire. Just brilliant science fiction writing.
You know, actually, it's one of my least favorite. I love Battlestar Galactica, but that's the only one I would give it on a scale of 1 to. I'd give that episode a 5 because most of it was just fighting fires.
But I liked it though.
Yeah, just watching them fight the fires. And let's see, fight the fires. You know. Yeah.
Let me clean that up. Let me do it again.
It was okay. It was nice, but, you know, I prefer more the space war type of thing. You know, they had a little bit in the end, at the beginning, I mean. Yep.
You recognize it?
It's on the tip of my tongue, and I don't remember. I should remember it. Oh, it's a show I think I liked. Dun, 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 dun. Oh!
Harrison Ford. That's a hint.
Oh, of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. Yeah, I liked some of the newer Raiders of the Lost Ark. I didn't like Quest for the Holy Grail, and then they made another one that was really a turkey. Search for the Gold Mine, or Search for the Something, so the crystal skull. I thought that was a turkey.
To me, they should have left it alone. I think
Absolutely.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was such a classic film.
Yeah.
They should have left it alone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
when they
that's my
did the
opinion.
crystal skull, that was so cheesy, like comic books out of the 30s
Yeah,
and them
yeah.
fighting. So, I mean, that was with the Nazis and fighting, flail, whatever, on the
Right.
trains. It was like, this is Cheese City. This
Yeah,
is
I
Cornball City. I
We'll
was not
have to
happy.
save that for another topic.
Yes.
Corny cities. But we better sign it because we're literally out of time. Anyway, we placed ourselves, him and I placed ourselves on the Planet of the Apes, and this is when Charlton Heston discovers
Yep.
his home.
Yep.
And I am your host, Asaph Cafe, and affectionately on my left, our aging rocker. And this is so fun
Mhm.
that we can use this green screen technology to put ourselves. And I think this is one of our better sets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any final words before we go? Better make it very quick.
Yes. At Christmas, a real joke. There were these two washing machines. And they were splashing around in a coffee cup, in 2 coffee cups at the Southgate Mall, and it was the Christmas season. Then Santa Claus came along, chewing on an old football, and the washing machine started to smile, so Santa Claus got mad and laughed. Ha ha ha!
Oh, I think I missed my last note there.
Wasn't that hilarious?
Yeah, Santa Claus, okay. So we'll be talking about Santa later on this year.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for joining us on the Planet of the Apes. I am Asaph Cafe with our aging rocker on my left.
Yep.
And so until our next show, Maranatha.
Yep.